It's my honor now to call on Charles Ranmelkamp, who has been our Poetry Shabbat coordinator for the last few years, and he's going to tell you about our topic and introduce our poets.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to the 5779 edition of Poetry Shabbat. Before I do anything else, I want to congratulate the bat mitzvah girl, Riley. I've known for several years that you're a very talented person, and you just demonstrated that again today. And mazel tov to the entire Katkoff family. When we first realized that there was a possible conflict between Poetry Shabbat and the bat mitzvah, we offered to move Poetry Shabbat to another day. But the Katkoffs graciously and creatively suggested that we combine the two into one celebration. And so Robin and I came up with the theme, which is coming of age. You can see how that applies to a bat mitzvah, but it's also relevant to the parsha because it's, the Hebrews are in a transitional phase. They're about to enter the promised land. They're about to come of age. So it's going to be one poem per person, either one that we've written or somebody else has written. And I'm going to go first, and I'll introduce the next poet, who is the inimitable Zach Berger. Zach will come up, read his, introduce the next poet, and so on. There are going to be a couple of songs in this year's version. The relation between poetry and song is an intimate and intricate one. In the Ha'azinu Parsha, Moses' poem is often called the Song of Moses, and we all know about Whitman's Song of Myself and Song of the Open Road and Song of Occupations and Song of this and Song of that. And I think everybody's familiar with Sing, O Muse, of the Wrath of Achilles, which opens up Homer's famous epic poem, the Iliad. So sing, O Muse, of the coming of age of Riley. My poem is called In Hot Pursuit. Up in the sky over Charles Village, a police helicopter hovers like a fantastic Disney creature, probably following some sort of crime. Paloma, look, her mother points, a helicopter. Amazed by the gigantic machine hanging in the air so menacingly close, its egg-beater wings whipping up a deafening souffle of sound, 20-month-old Paloma chases down the four-syllable word. Hoppo-cart, she cries, finger to the sky. Hoppo-cart. For the rest of the day, she trails after the word with bloodhound tenacity. Hoppo-cart, she tells her grandfather, excited by her news. Her grandfather remembers words like bana for vitamin and cloth for washcloth, karnch for whatever it was a karnch signified, as his daughter, Paloma's mom, now a multilingual translator of exotic tongues and dialects he'd not even known existed, pursued language herself so long ago. Zach Berger.
This poem is entitled Coming of Language, and it is dedicated to today's bat mitzvah and really to all b'nai mitzvah. When you're old, you'll remember the verses you read out in order, like directions on a trip to parts unknown, first with help, then alone. Their tone you'll recognize from across the room, like a bird's zakef, a train's munach, a language you half know but respect, a scroll you hold. Years later, you'll still know them by heart. You hold out hope for those who think they can't manage to read words without vowels, or even a second language, careering in another direction. How does your brain have room for two alphabets? Maybe they have fused into one hybrid in your germinative brain. One neuron alone knits a shatnez of English and Hebrew, holding the secrets of the Jew, universal particular. Enough room to encompass all that's spoken, felt, or read. The ideal sitter is written in two directions. Reading Torah is performing a story in a language that you become the sole scribe of. Engage with how every character in your story must fit. You, a lone narrator, the stage manager, the one giving directions, like every God myth that we still hold. The bat mitzvah is the apotheosis of text. It's your own story you chant when you read. Between each character and the next, the Talmud says, there must be room, at least a hair's breadth, room to fit yourself in, scroll as costume. We watch as you bring down your own language from the mountain, laboring in black and red, roaring one tense of being, one alone. No matter what metaphysics or linguistics we hold, you must show us the pronunciation and grammar, all directions for owning the learning. So does each of us. The election of the Jews is our own individual choices, blooming as a sunning sun, impervious to cold, depending on a single language, extinct by historical reasons alone, but spoken in every home, with 70 faces read. Hold up the scroll and show us the directions, laying fast but not too. Read the room. This language you will learn and become alone. And now I'd like to invite the eloquent Brenda Serpic to read her poems.
Shabbat Shalom. Well, I was thinking about, coming of age, which poem am I going to read? And I had a couple in mind. And then I just kept thinking, I can't believe it's Riley's bat mitzvah. I remember Riley when she was just this little girl, and I kept thinking back to that. And so my poem is for Riley. For Riley, do you know you are a greeting? You exist in a rhythm of hellos. I remember you this way, though you likely don't remember me. Two small boys in collared shirts, sitting in the shyness of a circle. Next to your Mary Janes and resounding melodies of a new Yahad service. You were there, the first minutes we entered this community. And it's you I remember, not the leaders, not the buildings, not the kugel, but the language of a fierce little girl, not afraid to answer ageless questions on what it means to be human in this awful, cruel world. Often cruel world. And now your bat mitzvah, and many more questions. And as we grow, the smiling climate of demands pulls our hair, tells us no more often than we can bear. Remember that little girl who knows how to accompany the music of a circle, who, without knowing, welcomes a whole family into a community. It only takes one person to stop the needless fear or cruelty of a situation, and one person with her long braid showed me that. Happy bat mitzvah. And now I'd like to call up Michael Saltzman.
Mazel tov to Riley and everybody who came today to this wonderful bat mitzvah. This is an early poem of mine when I was, not written when I was about her age, but what I was doing in this poem was probably at about the same age. It's called Horse. The games of childhood go on till dark, everything precious enclosed like a garden in the evening chill of an empty schoolyard. The iron hoop bends and springs back in the twilight, clangs with the 50th shot, a miss, thrown up by my wearying arms, rolled fat in a winter jacket. I played horse by myself a lot, eyelids wet from squinting in the wind, alternating shots with an absent friend who'd grown impatient at how poorly I ran on my one good leg, having starved the left one skinny as a cane from polio. Swish goes a two-handed set shot. Swish, a rare layup. The elevation so flat, my bad toe drags on the ground, its sneakers squinching. I move clockwise, fill in the letters of H, O, R, S, E, making each shot beyond the edges and top of the arc. The games of childhood go on till dark, saving the free throw for last, its cost immeasurable. It dances off the rim, still pinging in my chest. And now, Dave Draker.
Mazel tov to Riley and family. Now this is from the collection Difficult Fruit by Lauren Allen. 14. How the bud yearns to flower, believing that bloom is all beauty, perfuming the bliss of pluck. How she knows nothing of uprooting the constraints of glass, the burden of perpetual brightening. When she blossoms in her dreams, she is only the full rose of herself, free at last from the inconvenient root. How she strains against her greenness, prays for the day a hand will lift her away. Ah, rose, let us not tell her of whither. Let her turn her best face to the sky. And the next up is Betty Seidel.
At 96, I've had a long time to be coming of age. So I wish to dedicate this verse to sweet, talented, young poet Riley on her memorable day in September. With thanks to Frank Sinatra, Kurt Weill, son of a cantor, and Maxwell Anderson. It's called September Song. Oh, it's a long, long while from May to December, and the days grow short when you reach September, when the autumn weather turns the leaves to flame, and I haven't got time for the waiting game. Oh, the days dwindle down to a precious few. September, November, and these few precious days I'll spend with you. These precious days I'll spend with you. It's my pleasure to present poet Stuart Schoenfeld. Stu.
So how does one follow Betty Seidel? She sang, and I'm going to invite you to sing with me. Some anthropologists are of the opinion that the earliest poetry was actually sung, and I'm going to offer a song. It's in your program. It's L'chi Lach by Debbie Friedman, and then we have another song following this. L'chi Lach is Debbie Friedman's song for a bar bat mitzvah, and it echoes the words in Bereshit when God calls Abraham to go forth and become the person that he is supposed to be. And God says to Abraham, go to a place you don't know, and I will bless you, and you will be a blessing. And this is what we wish for Riley and for Bar Bat Mitzvah kids in general. I'd like to invite any of the members of the choir who want to join me on the bima to sing. And what we'll do is I'll sing first the song through. It's only 2 short verses. And then we'll go like this and ask everybody to fill the rafters with song. Lechila, to a land that I will show you. Lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechila, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechila, Lechila, and I shall make your name great. Lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lechila, to the place that I will show you. Listen, Chaim. Listen, Chaim. Listen, Chaim. Lechila. Everybody, please join in. Lechila, to a land that I will show you. Lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechila, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechila, Lechila, and I shall make your name great. Lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lechila, to a place that I will show you. Listen, Chat Chaim. Listen, Chat Chaim. Listen, Chat Chaim. Lechila. And to round the program up, Hilda Coyne, you're on deck. Hilda? Okay, come.
Well, Shabbat Shalom and Mazel Tov. Can anybody hear me okay? Okay, great. Riley, you are so beautiful and so intelligent, so talented, and very, very kind that you will go very far. You are welcome. And so my poem, which I set to music that I also composed, is not so much coming of age, but coming to fruition. It's very close. I had approval, so it's okay. And when I was about your age, I was in school in Paris. And I was born in Belgium, and I spoke French before I spoke English. So when I'm very deeply moved, I write sometimes in French. And I just wanted to know, does anybody here speak French? Oh, good. Well, I will translate. And does anybody here speak Hebrew? Oh, great, we're all in the right place. So the words in English do not rhyme, and they don't pair very well with the music. and then I will, share with you in English and then in French. And I made a little recording of this, which I put in your bat mitzvah card, which I'll give you downstairs later when it's over. Well, in English, the words are, if the eyes are the mirror of the heart, and we enter the heart by way of the eyes, how extraordinary you are. And may you go as far as you can. Si les yeux sont le miroir de cœur, et on entre le cœur par les yeux, que tu es extraordinaire, peux-tu aller aussi loin que tu peux. God bless you, dear.